You look young.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Board of Trustees special meeting, December 3rd, 2025. A special meeting of the Board of Trustees has been called in accordance with the Education Act, Alberta Regulation 82, Board Procedure Regulation Section 3. I call to order at 3 o'clock. Please stand for a national anthem. Public School Division is a welcoming place for peoples from around the world. We acknowledge that this land includes Treaty 8, Treaty 6, and Treaty 8 territories, and is the traditional meeting ground, gathering place, traveling route, and home for many Indigenous peoples, Métis and Inuit. Welcome, trustees who are online, and welcome to everyone who's in the room here today. Is there any changes to the agenda? As this special meeting is only for our audited financial statements for the year ending in August 31st, 2025, I don't know that there would be any changes. So if I could have an approval of the agenda, please. Trustee Acorn, all in favor? And that is carried. So we will move on to our action item, which is the audited financial statement.
I think it's a recommendation that the board receives the audited financial statement for the 24-25 school year.
Okay, can I have someone make that motion, please? Trustee Acorn. Oh, sorry, Trustee Mines. And now I will turn it over to Superintendent Scobie.
Great, so we are going to present to you the audited financial statement for the last school year. Tash Taylor, who is our Secretary Treasurer, her team, the metrics group, have all been working to go through our books and make sure that everything is looking fantastic. So I'll turn it over to Tash to present the audited financial statement.
Thank you, Board of Trustees, Superintendent, members of the public. It's my pleasure to present the 2024-25 audited financial statements. As Superintendent Scobie mentioned, I've worked with our auditors, metrics group, and who've done a thorough job auditing our books and making sure that we are undertaking public accountability to the fullest extent. So with that, I'm going to go through some key points of the statements. Won't go through them line by line. Our statements will be posted on our website at the end of today. And I'll open it up to questions from the trustees after the brief presentation. So I'll begin with saying that we ended the year posting a deficit of $127,457, which against a $70 million budget is less than 1%. And so we're quite pleased with that result. It's always a moving target when you set a budget, make estimates, and have to go through a year with uncertainties and things that come up. We are not disappointed with that result. Compared to last year, we're very close, and the deficit has been offset with revenues and a surplus of $1,040,509, which consisted primarily of some revenues from PUF money, which is program unit funding of $399,000, and some other additional revenues that were unexpected. We posted a deficit of $1.299 million of plant operations and maintenance. This is in part because there was work undertaken for the Grand Trunk project for almost $3 million against other work for some of our other projects, as well as depreciation is input into that. Even though it's a non-cash item, we need to account for that. And some other plant operations and maintenance elements that consist of that. Transportation, we ended with a net balance. Board and administration costs, we had a slight surplus, meaning we underspent on the administration overhead of our division. And external services, we had a slight deficit of $71,419. And this is external services relates to specialized supports for students, whether it's contracted psychologists or other supports in that regard. We go into where we are in terms of net debt. Our financial assets include cash of, this was at August 31st, 2025, $17,597,535. Accounts receivable for a total of $1.442813 million. These two items consist of that amount: GST receivable from the Jasper wildfires and retroactive pay for teachers' salaries and the recent labor action negotiations. We have portfolio investments of $431,788. This is an endowment fund, and we actually only spend the interest on that for scholarships. So we still have the asset, the principal amount showing as an asset. The total of financial assets is $19,472,000. Liabilities, we have payables of $4.4 million. And this again is in part to two large components. The retroactive pay, we have to show the other side of this, which is the payout we're expecting to contribute to our teachers. And we have a municipal levy from the county of Yellowhead County to the tune of $938,000. We have some unspent deferred contributions, and this is related to program funding primarily, but also some plant operations and maintenance funding that we have waiting for actual use. Those get reflected in the revenue once we actually undertake the work. And then we have asset retirement obligations. And this is a non-cash item, but we need to reflect that. What this means is it's a reflection of if we have to decommission a property or an asset, the cost involved in doing that for all of our properties. There's a formula set through Alberta Education and through all the auditors collectively who have come up with the formula. And we have an ARO, or asset retirement obligation, of $14,914,000. Again, this is a non-cash item, but it must be reflected per PSAS requirements. And then this is a variety of liabilities. It could be utilities and other accounts payable for $938,000. We can speak about revenues, and then we'll speak about expenses. So from the government of Alberta, from 2025, we had $64,804,000 in grant revenue. Alberta Infrastructure provided $2,042,936, and some other revenues that we've generated through school generated funds, fundraising, and other grants, and some other school authorities who provided funding. This could be through transportation, if we're transporting a student, if we're renting space to another school division, for example, that's reflected there. And that total would be $67,764,000. We have investment income of $700,000, which is a decline from last year, but this is simply just due to less money in the bank from cash flow, as well as reflecting a correction in interest rates across Canada in operating accounts. Donations and other contributions, $960,000. Fees, these are fees that may be charged at the school level. It could be pre-kindergarten fees, school trip fees, and that's a total of $491,000. Sales of services and products, federal government and First Nations. This includes a program we have in Hinton for First Nation students with the Friendship Center there. And then we have some other minor revenue streams for a total of $70,387,428. Okay, this is somewhat higher than previous year, last year, and this is due to revenue we received for recovery and restoration from the Jasper wildfire. Okay. Now, if we speak to expenses, okay, we have salaries and wages and benefits for a total of $47,626,000. We have service contracts and supplies for $19,404,000. Amortization of capital assets, again, a non-cash item that we need to reflect, $3.4 million, and all other for a total of $18,000. Pardon me, all other total $18,271 for a grand total in expenditures of $70,514,884. And this is what comprises a deficit of $127,457. We should also highlight that salaries and wages constitute 68% of our expenditures, while services, contracts, and supplies for 28%. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Trustees, are there any questions for Secretary Treasurer Taylor? Trustee Acorn?
Just going back to that deficit for the external services for our contracted support. So does that mean we are spending more than originally allocated to contracting?
Yes, thank you, Trustee Acorn. We estimate how much we would need for those specialized services, and we did overspend on that. However, it's really offset by savings in the instructional side. These are typically services to support students.
Yeah, so those are very important things.
Right, so it's a deficit for supporting students at the schools.
Trustee Mines? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Is that
she was first.
Hi, I'm wondering if you could fully explain the QP amount of 399,000. If for our public, they may believe we underspent on, not QP, sorry, PUF, that we underspent on the PUF students, but that is not the case. And I'm wondering if you can explain that better for us.
Thank you, Trustee. We this year we were made aware that there was $399,000 sitting in a reserve fund for program unit funding, which serves our youngest students, and it's specialized funding. And in 2020, 2021, this funding was provided to the division from Alberta Education. We didn't use it all at that time, and then there was the pandemic, and this money sat in the bank account unutilized. This year, we decided to pull it in as revenue. The Alberta government allows us to do that. We don't have to specifically retain it for PUF as it was in the previous years or years ago. And so what we think is that in the past, people didn't know it was there. We went through and did a full deep audit and found that there was this money, and we recognized it as revenue. It goes into the general instruction revenue that contributed to that $1 million surplus in that instructional category.
Thank you. Trustee Caputo.
Thank you. My question is in regards to, I'm on page 5 of the statement of financial position, and you said that the accounts payable and accrued liabilities, that also includes that municipal county levy, and that amount is it also included in the note 8?
Thank you. Yes. So this is an unusual feature for school divisions across the province. We were delivered a municipal levy, improvement levy from Yellowhead County for the amount of $938,000. And so we need to reflect that. It's a utility type of bill. I know the trustees have been working to look at that and address that in different ways, and I won't speak to that, but we do need to reflect that as a liability. And it is also included in our total balance for the year. So we are in a deficit of $127,000, but that also includes the payment of this levy of $938,000.
So if I may ask, if that levy was not there, what would we be, if I may ask, sitting at this year? If that's a question I may ask.
Of course, thank you. We would be in a positive net position of 127,000. So about $800,000 in a surplus position.
Thank
which
you.
would go to, and those funds would be able to be allocated to student services and educational purposes.
Thank you.
Trustee Bird.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Tash, for the incredible work you do. I don't know how you did. My question is the Jasper Wildfire Restoration Project finished, financially?
Thank you for that. Yes, we've just concluded. We are at the very end, the last payment related to GST, and that is also included as a liability and also as a receivable. We did some work with Premier Flood and Fire. Spoke about this at our last board meeting, public board meeting, and really that is the end. We're done the Jasper Fire. We just have to collect some GST from Canada Revenue Agency, and that's the end.
Anyone else have any questions? Trustee Acorn?
Just looking at the retro payment for teachers, that hasn't been paid out yet, so we still have to just clarify.
Thank you. Sure, thank you, trustee. We have to, it's true, the Alberta government hasn't confirmed their amount that they will be paying us or paying school divisions for retroactive payment based on the negotiation settlement. But we do have to book it and reflect it as a potential liability because we know this is coming. And so we need to address that and make sure that it's reflected. And we do it on both the revenue side and the expense side, but they are currently estimates.
If I may, so this, even though this just happened, right, in October, it's on our books for 2025.
Yes, thank you for that clarification. Because the retro payment impacts the 24-25 school year, that's why. It's actually payroll payment for work undertaken last year.
Anyone else? Oh, trustee Caputo.
Thank you for the question. Thank you. My question is in regards to the auditors that we have. And according to the Education Act, the board has to approve the auditors. How is your work with the auditors, if I may ask?
Thank you. They're very, very thorough and comprehensive. And I would say, from my perspective, they're excellent because I know they're going through everything. And they, it's, you know, when they say they don't have time to look at everything, I'm quite surprised at that because it feels that they do, given how much we have to provide. And they actually do a pre-audit. So in September, for about a week, we have to provide documents and information to them to prepare and get things ready. And then in October, they kind of do a full-scale audit. From my perspective, I think they're very great to work with, but they're not easy either. You know, they'll continue to ask questions until we give answers. So they're not easy, but they're thorough and pleasant.
Anyone else have any questions?
I do.
Oh, trustee Mines?
I'm just curious about the grand trunk payment that we made for the gym. Is that finished and completed? We've completed the whole payment now?
Thank you, trustee. We have estimated approximately that work will be about $3.6 million. However, we've only been invoiced or required to pay the $2.880 million. So there is a difference there of about $700 and some thousand that we may be billed for once the project is complete. But we're not sure yet, so we're not using that money for anything. We're leaving it and we're preparing in the event that they request and require that payment.
Thank you.
I have a question. In regards to the demolition of the other two schools, are we seeing that anywhere in this audited financials?
Thank you, trustee or board chair. No, the Alberta infrastructure will be paying for the demolition and managing that project along with us, but that's not something that we're required to pay for.
So it wouldn't reflect in our books.
That's right.
If I may follow up, but it would in the our AROs.
So the AR, yes. So, and this one, it gets a little tricky because it's a government managed project, but the ARO, so the asset retirement obligation, will come down next year once those buildings, those are decommissioned. And because right now that 14 million reflects the cost to decommission all of our capital assets, including those two schools. But
Trustees, are there any more questions? Seeing none. Oh, sorry, trustee Caputo.
If I may ask through the board chair to our superintendent, what did you see? Like this would have been your first going through an audit like this. If I may ask, what did you see?
When I was first hired, one of my first jobs was to help present the spring financials. And so we went through each of those schedules, brought those schedules to the board, and learned a lot about what the budget was at that point in time. Then we came into the fall, metrics came in, Tash is here. We have a very open and straightforward way of doing business. And that way of doing business is to bring forward everything that needs to be talked about, be open and honest about it, find out what all the answers are, present the answers, and make sure that the trustees know what's going on. The audit is a fantastic process that has been engaged in. Tash has been very open to say, we are going to ask every question. we're going to make sure everything is talked about. And if there are any things that needed to be done, she asked the team around her. Metrics had full and complete access to what we were doing. I thought it was a very open, and the one I was thinking of as Tash was talking earlier was very fair. They're fair. They ask hard questions, but they're not designed to be tricky. They're designed to just be fair, straightforward. Tell us your story so we understand what's going on, so we can write up the best audited financial statement. I thought the process was excellent, open, honest, and fair. Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, seeing none, I'm just going to reiterate that should this audited financial be approved today, it will be on our website this afternoon. Correct?
We have to sign, so there'll be the signatures that will go on it. And once the signatures are done, then we can then post it to the website.
Is it possible, Katie, that we get that today or tomorrow?
So we'll do
Okay,
it,
so it'll be
it'll
today.
be today.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much. Now I'll read the recommendation again. That the Board of Trustees approve the audited financial statement for the year ending August 31st, 2025. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you, everyone, for your time and for joining us here. And there is no closed session.
There is
So
no closed session.
I can adjourn the meeting at 3:26.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.